Let's begin. We'll spend these first few moments just quieting and breathing. So as we connect to our breath, feel it originate in the center of your chest, the center of your heart. Align skull bones over sit bones. And I want to describe a word a couple different ways. The word quiet or quieting is often connoted to mean shutting down sources of noise or sound. Right? But quiescence, that deep capital Q, quiet, is what emerges as we situate ourselves more deeply in heart center. It's a quality of heart, it's a quality of patient listening. And our breath work today. Inhale a count of 10. Exhaling 10 plus. Let's take a first few rounds there, and we'll add to that. And I'll let us go at our own pace. So some of the ways I might discover such a quality, like that quiescence of the heart. Sometimes we can feel that when we focus, remain connected to some space in the body. For a breath, for two. That unwavering feeling awareness. We decline the invitations of thoughts and agendas and sometimes we discover it as those little moments right in between the thoughts, the waves of emotions. I think it was Alan Watts who described it as little slats in a fence. So part two. Part two is exhaling as sound. So no count is necessary, but we'll take a deep or 10 count inhalation and we'll exhale as sound. Lips can remain closed. Play with relaxing the tongue. It's that whole throat, neck, heart structure becomes a resonating chamber. So here we go. We'll do 3 rounds. Brahmari. in the following 3 deep breaths, listen in silence. Feel for it. Hear and feel the silence. Yes. You got that. You can feel that difference. That's excellent. I'll encourage us to listen in that, to listen for that, our whole practice today. If you need to change the cross of your legs, now is a good time. This practice today is a little bit of not looking at the letters and the words on the page. That's a little bit more of feeling, sensing the page, right? The margins, the blankness. Inhale, reach the arms out to the side. Eagle. Exhale your right elbow over your left. Gliding the shoulders down. Very gently reaching elbows forward. In our body, that silence is the listening, with or without content, with or without anything to listen to. The listening itself is an embodiment practice. When we inhale and unwind the arms, reach them all the way out. And we exhale the left elbow over the right. Let's try this out. How do we listen with and through the back of our heart? Inhaling, unwind. Let's release. When we lie on our back, let's have a block and our roll nearby. We'll get to them both. Let's start by bringing the feet off the ground so the knees are over the hips. And the hands can be placed under the head. Inhaling, float the head and the shoulders off the ground. Curling tailbone. Exhale. Right leg reaches out. Empty, empty, and then draw the belly down. Here's an emptiness moment. Inhaling, bend the right knee. Curl tailbone, exhale. Outreach through left leg. Feel for that emptiness moment. Draw low belly down. Listening deeply in and through the abdomen. Inhale, bend left knee. Exhaling, right leg reaches out. Draw low belly down. Inhaling. Come back to our start spot, knees over hips. Curling tailbone, exhale. Left leg reaches out. Draw low belly down. Now, inhaling, bend left knee. Let's do 3 more on each side. How would you enact listening in and through your abdomen? How do you become listening in your belly? And there may be content. You may feel some gurgles or feel some hunger pangs or some stiffness. And that's fine. I just want to have us practice embodied listening today. Silence is a great cleanser. When you're through, and it appears we mostly are, we'll grab our roll, place it between legs, and reach legs skyward. Inhaling, bringing listening through the low back And pelvis. Squeeze, roll. Exhaling. We'll float the head and the shoulder blades up. It's a sweet little emptiness moment at the end of each exhale. Draw low belly down. And let it go. Inhaling, place the head down. Hold. Squeeze, roll. And curl tailbone. Exhale. Head and shoulders up. Drawing low belly down. I'll talk through one more. Inhaling, letting go of squeeze, placing head down. Hold just for a moment. Squeeze. Curling tailbone, exhale, head and shoulders off the ground. Drawing low belly down. Now when we inhale the head down, we'll do the next 5 on our own. So sensation and listening, they're not mutually exclusive. If there's sensations, signals, bodily communications, they're still listening. Embodied listening, there's a feel, there's a quality it lends to the experience. It doesn't get rid of the sensation. It doesn't background the sensation. But it's right there. It's an intimate part. And when you're through, imagine you're done or getting right there. We'll be setting up for a bridge with a block. Okay. So let's set our feet up hip width, feet in parallel, heels fingertip distance away, inhaling. From abdomen, through the core, through our guts, into heart. Exhaling, shift the tailbone towards sky, buttock lifts, spine lifts. Bridge. And we'll insert that block anytime. reaching the thigh bones, gently away from the heart. Listen in the silence. Listen for it. Listen in it. Listen as silence. Again, this doesn't mean we need to eradicate noise, nor does it mean we eliminate stimuli, but our whole body becomes a listening presence. Continue to breathe deeply. Your breath is an exquisite part of this capital S silence, capital Q quiescence of the heart. With the left foot well planted. Inhaling, pick the right foot off the ground, and we'll raise the right leg skyward. And inhaling, we'll set the right foot down to switch sides. And when that right foot feels well planted, inhale the left foot off the ground, drawing the knee toward the chest. Exhale, reach, raise it up. Staying connected to breath. And as we keep connecting to our heart, the center of heart space, heart is, in some sense, in one particular way, almost like a great purifier. Letting each experience move through the heart. And set that left foot down on the ground. Remain in bridge. Place your thumb and your forefinger above your hip bones. So on that waist area, just above the hip bones. So my triceps, my upper arm is on the ground, and my hands are above my hips. Provide a little bit of pressure. And as you connect to your breath, and lifting the heart, be like toward the chin, lifting the heart away from the hips. And press off that block. And take your time to descend out of bridge. And then take your time, turn over. We'll set up for some dolphin. So let's go elbows under shoulders, knees under hips. And on your next exhale, we'll press the knees off the ground, entering dolphin. Now, if you have any shoulder conditions and you need the most stability for one or both of your shoulders, I'll offer, please leave both arms down on the ground. If, however, you're able to work with weight on one shoulder at a time, we'll start by shifting some of that weight into the left arm. And then carefully, we'll remove the right elbow from the ground, the right hand from the ground. And we'll set the right hand behind the back. Optional move is raising the left foot. Now, sometimes when I work two limbs, I like to keep my fingertips near the ground just to prevent spiraling out of pose. We'll set the left foot down, we'll set the right arm down. Remaining in dolphin, if possible. Okay, those of you taking an arm away, we now take the left arm away. You can set it behind the back. And if you like, option of raising right foot off ground also. Gently set right foot down, set left forearm down. We'll set the knees down. Let's slide hands under shoulders. And on our next exhale, press back, downward dog. Inhaling, step left foot forward, warrior two. And we'll move through the hands and the fingers. So let's bring our right palm just out in front of the navel. And with our feet active, deep in stance, we'll lightly draw back smallest digit. Connect to breath. Exhaling, feeling the shoulder relax. Feeling that arm line enliven with each release. Right? Let's just keep going through each digit. One full, deep breath per digit. Now here's a simple sensation. We do this, right? We're eliciting some sensation by tugging and putting our body into these positions. How do we listen as the right side of heart? How does the palm of our right hand listen? So I'm suggesting listening is possible in and with the entire body. Inhale, reach arms out to the side. Chest opener. An extended warrior variation. So we'll place the left forearm on the left thigh. Raise the right arm almost vertically. Spread the heel of the palm. Now, inhaling, let's bring that right hand down, as well the right knee. Anytime you need additional padding, just add it in. And draw the arms up, press legs vibrantly down into the ground. So going arms up, hands up, spreading the hand bones. And inhale, place the hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Step the left foot back, lowering all the way down. Now reach back to the big toes. You're turning on the inner legs. And with the hands slightly in front of your shoulders, inhale the heart away from the toes. And keep those feet on the ground. Exhaling, lower down, downward dog. Now connect to deep breath. Feel that breath originate in and move through the heart. So it's a slight attentional shift if that's what you need to do to get there, but sensing from heart's center. Sensing in and from heart's center. Inhale, step right foot forward, warrior two. Bring the left palm in front of your navel. Feet active. Lightly draw smallest finger back. Connect to breath. The sensations, they're very alluring. There's so much we can do with sensations. We can make meaning with them. We can work with them. We can manipulate them. But I'm asking us to go underneath that. Let's go deeper than the sensation that might be presenting. And that's the listening itself. Moving through each digit on your own. Inhaling, when you're through, reach those arms out to the side, extended warrior variation, chest opener, place right forearm on thigh, raise left arm. Go ahead and press for that right arm mat. There you go. It's not just that we're we're not just stuffing breath between the shoulders, but when we breathe between the shoulders, right, we situate, listening, sensing, yet situated between the shoulders. How we feel from between the shoulders. So can you get to the center of the chest, listening? Lunge. Inhaling, let's set the left knee down. Draw the arms up. Inhaling, place hands down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Let's step the right foot back. We'll lower all the way down. Cobra. Keep the tops of the feet on the ground. Reach back through them. Inhale. And elevating the chest, use the hands. Pull. And then you might be able to elevate a little bit more. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. All right, lunge, hands on hips. Inhale, left foot forward. Now we'll set the right knee down for now. If you need to keep the knee down, that's one option. Option two is keeping the knee up. But let's start here for a moment. Hands on hips. So I'm putting my hands, just like we did in bridge, thumbs pointing toward the spinal cord, and the other four fingers wrap around the front of pelvis. If your wrists are achy, you can make fists. That's a possibility. Inhaling. Use hands, press. And as you press down with the hands, sense breath lifting, getting these upper bones around the heart and the lungs. To start to lift, to spread, to move. So option one is remain right here with the knee down. Option two is lunge with the knee up, hands on hips. Feel and fill those upper lobes of the lungs. So the heart, the lung, the shoulders, the upper back and the arms. In the Eastern traditions, the energetic and medicine traditions, these are considered emotional lines. Right? These are the lines, the pathways of emotional health, having a lot to do with, I think anger is one of them. Okay. I'm sure there's a few more. But these pathways, feel your breath moving, like opening up these feeling pathways. All the way up to the collarbone. There's ribs up until the collarbone. Go all the way up, all the way up. And you might squeeze your elbows back, Molly, to help you into the front side if that's, there you go. There it is, there it is, there it is. Now we're getting in there, cool. So we'll soften, we'll release. Inhale, we'll set the hands down, the knee down. Exhaling, chaturanga. Okay, so now if you choose upward dog, that upward dog's going into the very same place. Inhaling. Use those upper lobes of lung, getting under the collarbone. Exhaling, downward dog. Remain in downward dog just for a moment. Press. Rather than just sagging into the shoulder sockets, press. Reach out through those palm pads and those fingertips. Inhaling, right foot forward. And for the meanwhile, we'll set the left knee down. And again, we're going hands on hips. So if your hands need a little bit of a break, you can make fists. So one, there's downward pressure. I'm using downward pressure to help me feel this upper third of the sternum. Okay. Collar, heads of shoulder. So sometimes we just have to feel an area of the body to even begin listening from there. Okay, sensing, feeling, listening. So this is option one with the left knee down. Option two is pressing that back knee up. The pressure of the hands is there not only to lift the chest, but to protect the back. So your downward pressure, hopefully, helps the back feel good. If you're starting to kind of lift up out of the lunge, I invite you, you can deepen into the lunge. Yeah. And we'll release. Just letting the hands go, setting them down. Inhale. Setting the left knee down, of course. Exhaling, we'll step the right foot back, chaturanga. Let's lower all the way down to the ground, however. Okay. Interlace hands behind your back. Now, when you interlace, you can almost like squeeze the finger bones toward one another while pulling the palms apart. And this may create some relief for your wrists. So sometimes after that pressure, the wrists like that relief. Okay. Inhaling, floating the chest off the ground just a little bit. The feet can remain on the ground. Exhaling, send the knuckles back. This is where most most individuals get really short of breath. Let's remain for 2 additional breaths here in boat. Breathing to feel. Feeling in between the heads of the shoulder. The uppermost ribs. How would that feel if the collarbone had listening? And release. Inhale, hands under chest. Exhaling, downward dog. Press out through the shoulders, through the palm heels, through the fingertips. Warrior 1. Inhale the left foot forward. Is that true? I think we started left foot forward. If I'm wrong, you can always holler out at me. We'll go left. Warrior 1. Twisting warrior. So as we exhale, hook that right elbow over left thigh. And then how do we become listening in the right side of the back? How do we enact listening through the trunk? It doesn't exclude the sensation. It does not expunge or background the sensation. It's right there, right in it, with it. Inhaling, unwind. Now, when we unwind, we'll shorten the stance by about 6 or 8 inches. Press your trunk upright. And you notice I'm in a really short, nothing stance right now. But as I descend, as I bring my knee under my hip, I'm going to get in there. So you see my right angle legs. My right knee is directly under hips. I'm going to use my fists and press my knuckles to the back of pelvis. Inhaling, lift the guts away from your right thigh. Exhaling, reach your right thigh away from your guts. Okay. Now for getting the right angles here, and back your hips up, Vijay, so just push your hips back. Just use your left foot, push back. Good, descend, deep. Push the hips back another inch or 3. Keep going backward, hips backward, backward, there you go. You too, Kara, if you go hips back, that knee will be under the hip. Oh, there you go. If you feel that quad turning to lava, that's it. That's probably it. For most of us, we have to shift the hips back. I would say the same, Tweebs. Send the hips back, hips back, hips back. Again, if that right quad feels like lava, that's probably the spot. Okay. Now, right, breathe in and through the heart. There might be a lot going on in the lunge in the legs. How can that experience move through the heart? Would I be willing to let that experience move through the heart? When we release, we'll set that right knee down, patting, please. Heel to butt lunge, left hand on left thigh, right hand grab right ankle. And there's lots of practices for when we feel the sensation. How do we breathe? How do we work with the energy? How do we manipulate it? How do we move it? How do we get a certain outcome with it? How do we embetter ourselves by it? And this is more of the absolutely present and attentive curiosity. When we release, we'll inhale the hands down, exhaling chaturanga. Inhaling upward dog. And yes, you're welcome to choose cobra. Exhaling downward dog. Warrior one. Inhale, right foot forward. The poet Rumi has a line something like, trade your cleverness for bewilderment. Right? We can get really clever with sensations and artifacts and thoughts and feelings and energies, and we can get really clever. But when we listen, there's more of a poised, curious, interested bewilderment. Like, what of this? Non-interfering, deep listening. Twisting warrior. Exhaling, left elbow over right thigh. Now inhaling, unwind. Use your hands to press off your thigh so your trunk moves upright. We shorten the stance. Okay. So I would say I'm starting with my feet, I'll say 2.5 feet. It's probably more like 3, but if I say 2.5, you'll probably set them out to wider or 3. Hands on hips, you can use fists. And just like the elevator is going down, down, and my knee is off the ground. I am not kneeling. Using my hands to also just square, if you will, square the hips. Reaching that left thigh straight down as if away from the brain. You might even feel that left quad unclogging the bottom of the brain. Good. And use your hand strength, Kara. Lift, sense all the way up under the collar. Good. Yep. Keep bringing that breath there. Those lobes of lungs, our lungs, there's some elasticity to them. And as we breathe dynamically, we exercise and help maintain that elasticity. Moving that breath in and through the heart. If it gets a little fiery, would that be okay? Can I become listening even if there's a lot of heat or fire or intensity vying for my attention? And when we release, let's set the left knee under some padding. Heel to butt lunge. So with the right hand on the right thigh, draw the left heel toward the hip. What does listening feel like? This isn't an ear listening. This is embodied, whole body. Release. Inhaling will unwind, hands to ground. Exhaling, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. All right. So now's a good time to sit the knees down. We'll create some padding and get some props ready for camel. So one of the pieces of equipment, if you have it, it's really nice. I'll be setting up camel with a strap and a towel so you can see. You might want to use it. Just any old hand towel may do. When I put the center of my strap in the towel and roll it up, right, I'll get something like a little headrest, a little squishy cushion, and the strap just kind of hangs out of it. Okay. Second thing is have plenty of padding under both your knees and your foot bones. And while I'm not showing you this, there's the version we can do it with the wall. It's putting the front of our body up next to a wall. Why would I do that? I would do that if I was low back sensitive and I wanted to maintain verticality. I wanted to preserve that vertical and spacious feeling in my back. So that the wall is really good for that. Okay. So we'll do 2 rounds and I'll work the first round hands on hips. Now, just a note, if you're using the strap with me, reminder, I've got the cushion behind my neck. The strap crosses the front of my chest. See how it makes like a seatbelt X? And then with strap grasped in both hands, I have my knuckles on my hips. Okay. So if you don't have the strap set up, that's okay. Just set your hands on your hips. We'll do the first round, hands on hips, and that'll be for everyone. So first, I lean back a little bit so there's pressure, there's weight in my feet. That also lets me shift the tailbone down and use my buttock muscles for support. Now, if your squishy head roll is large enough, it's there to just relax the neck onto. Inhaling. Breath under the strap, under the sternum. Exhaling, keep that tailbone shifting down. And as the hands press, lift the chest. It's a little bit like one of those photo finishes. The racer is kind of chest first through the finish line. So in a sense, we're kind of breathing, getting our chest to go right through the strap. Now, if you have a pretty good strap tension, this will help your muscles of inspiration. They'll have to work. You're kind of working that breath with a little stick-to-itiveness, a little muscle, a little deliberateness. Like 2 or 3 more breaths. So between rounds, I'll just take a little bit of a rest. I'll encourage you, sit or rest or stand so your spine can stay vertical. So avoid folding forward for right now. Okay. So here's our options going into the second round. If you love that towel neck rest, if you love the strap, how it helps us to aim and lift the chest bones up, keep using it. Option 2 is reaching the hands back for heels. I'm going to do that option on my second round. So if we're ready, let's head in for round 2 camel. You can use the strap or you can reach back for the heels. Let's plan on 6 to 8 breaths. Here we go. All good in there, Kara? Good, good. You might just take a couple vertical rest moments. Sometimes there's little pressure changes or a vestibular change. Sometimes it can feel a little spinny exiting back bend. So just take a moment. And it looks like we're pretty well finished with that second round. There's no rush. Just continue until you're through. Let's use the roll for lounge lizard. It's a little unwind move. So I'm sitting on my right hip. My right foot, my right hip, and my right hand are lined up. I've got the roll between my legs. And then flex the feet. So I'm pressing the heels gently away from the roll. The left hand, just the free hand, place it on the ground for balance. And while maintaining a bit of activity through the legs, activity, that gentle reach. And breathing into this bottom side of the waist and the ribs. The intent here is to soothe, to inquire, and just to feel how those back bends. How those worked out in the body. And when I focus through the heel, I'm more apt to connect to some of those buttock muscles. And when you feel those buttock muscles engaging, you'll feel how that influences the release in the low back. So the heel emphasis will help create butt involvement, which will shape how you're experiencing the back release. And when we release, we'll change sides. So now I'm on my left side, my left heel, my left hip, and my left hand line up. Flexing feet. What does that feel like? How does that work for you? To listen in and through the low back, the low ribs. Remember, it's that little switch. It's okay if there's sensation there. It's all right if there's stretch there. Becoming that field of alive quiescence in which everything is occurring. When you can feel that aliveness of the silence, it's not loneliness. There's no absence. Nothing's missing. And that alive silence, there's an intrinsic fullness. When we release, let's lie on back, and I'll offer kind of a subjective moment here for all your backs. If you need another just release option, it can be nice to cross ankle over thigh in this figure 4, and you can create just another moment for yourself to release through the buttock and through the side of the hip. So if you have some back tenderness or just you can always add in. Just a couple moments of additional back release. I'm going to do that. And as I'm doing that, I'm also remembering that we did a lot to contract the buttock muscles today. Okay, if you're working that additional figure 4 back release, let's just do the other side. And when you're ready for Shavasana, please help yourself to lying. Where perhaps one more time we can feel our breath and our body supported in this deeper listening of the heart. Feeling each breath originate from and return to a silent heart. When we sense from here, the whole world is alive. Infinitely rich.